how much percentage of cases are coming of the precocious puberty, and why it is more in the girls than boys?
In general, it's more in the girls, and in girls mainly because we say that 90% of the cases it's idiopathic precocious puberty. Like we don't know what the cause is, but of late it's not idiopathic anymore. Like there are many genetic factors that have been identified, but searching for a genetic mutation or a genetic cause would turn out to be more expensive than the treatment itself, so we're not going to do it for everyone.
So I have heard few myths actually around the precocious puberty. One of the most common myth that although people know कि हाँ इसके बाद हाइट नहीं बढ़ेगी और वो सारा होगा, but they feel कि अगर एक बार start हो गया तो वो रुकेगा नहीं. It's a genetic. What is the fact behind it? Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show, Parenting Prescription Podcast. And today's episode is about puberty. And again, I am welcoming Dr. Dhanya, who is endocrinologist. Before I introduce Dr. Dhanya, I want you to introduce yourself about and tell us about little bit about yourself.
Okay. I am Dr. Danya. I'm working as a pediatric endocrinologist in Calicut, in Astomims, Calicut. I've been working as a pediatric endocrinologist over the past, say, 5 years, and the number of cases of early puberty that we are seeing has gradually is increased. Probably, I would feel because of the increasing awareness as well, and apart from other reasons, which we will discuss. So, yeah, we
Right,
can start.
right. So thank you so much, Dr. Dhanya, for your introduction. So yes, as Dr. Dhanya said कि आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे precocious puberty जो बहुत ही अभी actually parents need to be aware about this. They should know the information, what is causing this and how can we prevent, especially the girl child who are facing more of these cases. So, Dr. Dhana, before jumping into the main topic, could you please help us understand that what is the normal puberty like the age, normal age, and the normal sequence of event in the puberty, both the boys and girls?
Okay. Puberty, what we need to understand is not that the girls will develop periods all of a sudden on a particular day. So it's a gradual process which happens over, say, 1.5 to 2 years, in some girls even longer. The normal age at which puberty starts in girls is after the age of 8 years. So by after 8 years, I mean that there'll be beginning of the breast development after 8 years. If there's a child who has already developed periods at 8 years, then that's definitely not normal. Okay, so there's initially breast development, after which there is pubic hair and axillary hair development, and towards the end is when the girl will develop periods. Similarly, in a boy, the initial changes will happen after the age of 9 years. The initial change would be increase in the testicular volume, and then there'll be increase in the penile length, pubic hair, penile length, and finally result would be the production of spermatogenesis. So this will be the progression of puberty in both girls and boys.
Okay, all right. So as you said that the maybe due to awareness or maybe the kind of information circulating in the social media, parents are now more aware about the precocious puberty and the average age in which the precocious puberty or puberty is coming in the kids. But what are the other regions, or how do you feel that over the last 2 decades, how's the change and how's the age progressing? Like earlier, when our time, we used to have around the first period or menses around 13-14 years. Like I had my menses around when I was, I think, 8th class or 9th class, maybe in 14 years, 15 years. So over the last 2 decades, what is the shift? Like kitna age shift ho gaya on an average in the puberty?
Yeah, definitely. When it was our parents and even us, I think most of us attained menarche when we were around 14 years or 13 to 14 years. Of late, you see that many of the girls, they are developing their first periods or menarche at around 11 years is the general average 11 to 12 years. In many cases, we have seen where it's much earlier. And we need to be aware of this because of two main reasons. One reason being that after a girl attains menarche, they don't continue to grow a lot. Okay. Because there's epiphyseal fusion, and post puberty they'll probably have a height gain of say 5 to 8 centimeters extra. That's probably it. And then the second reason is there are so many girls who are like breast development when they're studying in first standard or second standard. So that means that within after like 1 to 1.5 years they'll probably develop their menstrual cycle or they'll have periods. So a girl studying in third standard managing menstrual cycles is pretty hard. Like they are
Yes.
physically having menstrual cycles, but then they're like psychologically
Not
not
ready.
ready to handle that. With menstruation comes like a lot of other responsibilities as well, but the girl will probably be too young to handle that. So these are the two reasons why we need to address it. And again, you were asking why this is. This is probably because of the secular trends and improvement in the nutrition and maybe even overnutrition. There's obesity on the rise, and there's also something that we call like endocrine disrupting chemicals. So where are these? These are there like everywhere because even the food that we eat, I'm not saying that completely avoid dairy products or like milk, but the more processed food that we eat, most of it will have these chemicals. And even all the plastic materials that we use, the pesticides, most of the vegetables and fruits are also grown with a lot of pesticides. So chronic exposure to all of these could also be one of the reasons why we are seeing early puberty and precocious puberty.
Right. So, is there any data, if you can tell us that how much percentage has increased, how much percentage of cases are coming of the precocious puberty, and why it is more in the girls than boys, and what percentage in the girls and boys?
I'm not sure about the exact numbers. I can get back to you on it. But in general, it's more in the girls. And in girls, mainly because we say that 90% of the cases, it's idiopathic precocious puberty. Like we don't know what the cause is. But of late, it's not idiopathic anymore. Like there are many genetic factors that have been identified, but searching for a genetic mutation or a genetic cause would turn out to be more expensive than the treatment itself, so we're not going to do it for everyone. Whereas in boys it is much more rarer, except in cases of like obesity, early obesity. And even if it's there in boys, the chances of pathological precocious puberty is more. Like whenever you see a young boy with increase in testicular volume, or you feel that the penile length is more, that's probably going to be like a more serious condition than it is when in a girl. So that is what we need to remember.
All right. So now coming to the main topic, what is precocious puberty? Like if we see the definition, if we want to know the definition, what is precocious puberty?
Okay, whenever you see like breast development, that is the breast bud development in a girl before the age of 8 years, or increase in the testicular volume in a boy before the age of 9 years, we consider it as precocious puberty.
All right. And you said earlier that the pathological precocious puberty, idiopathic precocious puberty. So, what are the type of precocious puberty, if you can mention that?
The main two causes would be like central and peripheral.
Mm.
Okay, I don't think like we need to really identify the causes, but you just need to be aware that you feel that your child has any new symptom very early. Like you feel like your child has a breast development much earlier than the peers, or much earlier than when you remember you had it, or her cousins. Or if you feel that your uh, son has penile length enlargement or acne, axillary hair, or change in body odor earlier than what it should be, or say much earlier than the classmates, then I feel it just it justifies an evaluation, a proper evaluation.
Mm-hmm. So these are the physical changes. Is there any like do we see that okay there is isolated breast enlargement, there is isolated penile length enlargement, or do we see this whole spectrum together?
Yeah, there are cases when we see like isolated pubic hair development or isolated breast
Hmm.
development in
Hmm.
much earlier cases, like when the child is very young,
Hmm.
say between the age group of like 2 to 4 years. It's usually isolated premature telarche and it's not um precocious puberty. But
Hmm.
what we need to remember is these definitions, it can't be just a simple definition for everyone. Like each
Hmm.
child has to be examined. It's not
Hmm.
just the breast development, many other
Hmm.
things like how the child is growing, what has been the
Hmm.
previous height velocity, what's the
Hmm.
bone age, and
Hmm.
other investigations also need to be done. There are
Hmm.
many cases like we have burnt our fingers as well. Like we can't just say that it is normal or there's no cause.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
very important to rule out the more sinister causes in every case.
Right, right. So, apart from these physical changes, Dr. Dhanya, is there any emotional change the parents can notice? And is there any other changes in child's behavior which parents can notice beforehand and they can see, okay, there's no physical change, but I see these emotional and behavioral changes in baby, they need to be evaluated for the precocious puberty.
Yeah, so many of the parents they come with such concerns as well. Like they
Hmm.
would have noticed the physical changes, but along with it, they would have noticed some other behavioral issues,
Hmm.
such as the child behaving more like an adolescent, like in a more mature way, or some temper tantrums, or they won't listen to the parents like how they previously would, or
Hmm.
argue much more than what it used to be. These are
Hmm.
probably related to the increase in the hormone levels, which usually happens in the adolescence age group, like increase in the testosterone and estriol. These could be the reasons why such changes are seen.
Okay, right, right. So now coming to the causes, as you mentioned briefly about the lifestyle, the things we are using, but if you can help us understand what are the causes of precocious puberty, which parents need to know that the information they should know and they can avoid, of course, with this information. But what are the causes of precocious puberty in general, and what is the most common reason you find in your practice?
The most common cause that I find in practice is again idiopathic, like where there's no cause in a
Reason
girl.
for. Hmm.
Yeah, no reason for it. But the other causes that we need to know is there can be central causes, like some problem with the brain, like a brain
Brain.
tumor is one thing that has to be, very seriously thought about and needs to be ruled out.
Hmm.
And then there can be children who have been exposed to radiation, radiotherapy or
Hmm.
chemotherapy, and the
Hmm.
children who've had previous surgeries.
Hmm.
Those are the children who are at higher risk. Apart
Hmm.
from this, there's a genetic condition called congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Such children can
Okay.
also develop
Hmm.
central precocious
Hmm.
puberty.
Hmm.
And there are other peripheral causes. Like central, we are talking about this because there are signals from the brain, that is LH and FSH, that come that are released, and then they act on the ovaries in the girls or the testes in the boys, and then the final hormones are produced. Okay.
These are reproडक्टिव
These are
हार्मोन अगर हम
reproductive
हाँ
hormones
हम
and the
बोले
pituitary
जनरल
hormones.
लैंग्वेज
General,
में तो हाँ
yeah,
these are reproductive hormone जो हेल्प करते हैं बॉडी को बेसिकली प्रिकॉशियस प्यूबर्टी फ्रॉम child to develop in adolescence or adult, right?
yeah. So
Hmm.
there can be either problem with the brain or there can be problem with these organs which are producing. So the
Hmm.
other causes, the peripheral causes could be, there can be an adrenal tumor sometimes, there can be an
Hmm.
ovarian tumor, there
Hmm.
can be smaller cysts that are producing some hormones. But that is what, like even though in 90% of the girls, there is no particular cause found, there are cases like 10% of the children can have these more serious underlying conditions, and hence the need for a thorough evaluation and thorough
Hmm.
investigations
Hmm.
before we just say that okay, this is without a cause, and we can't just go ahead and treat unless we have ruled out the serious things.
Right, right. ओके सो लेट्स से पेरेंट को पता चला कि हाँ थोड़ा मतलब मदर ने नोटिस किया कि ब्रेस्ट बड आ रहा है या फिर प्यूबिक हेयर आ रहे हैं तो व्हाट शुड बी द नेक्स्ट स्टेप हाउ कैन वी डायग्नोज हाउ कैन वी सो सर्टेन कि हाँ दिस इज द प्रिकॉशियस प्यूबर्टी अपार्ट फ्रॉम द फिजिकल एंड इमोशनल चेंजेस एंड फिजिकल एग्जामिनेशन.
Yeah, if at all you feel that your child is developing these signs, it would be really better if you can consult with the pediatric endocrinologist if
Of
one is
course.
available in your place, and if not, at least visit like a senior pediatrician who is in your city, and then get the child examined thoroughly. Because what when the parents feel it, it might be just a suspicion. Sometimes we might just feel it because we are looking at these videos and we are like anxious. And once the pediatrician or the endocrinologist confirms that it is actually a breast bud, then they'll probably look at your height, child's height, and how the child is growing. Get an X-ray done to look at the bone age, and some blood investigations along with a scan. Ultrasound scan might also be needed to further find out the cause.
Right. In last episode, actually, we have discussed about the obesity, and
Yeah.
obesity is causing the precocious puberty. So, if you can help us understand in detail that how the obesity is causing the precocious puberty.
Obesity will lead to like overnutrition. The child keeps growing. When there is obesity, the child is not just putting on weight, the child is also growing taller and taller. And when the child is tall, there's advancement in the bone age. The epiphyseal fusion is also occurring earlier, and that in turn will trigger the pituitary, our brain, to release these signals, LH and FSH, intermittently, which will lead to the earlier development of these changes, earlier puberty, especially in girls. And in boys, another common problem that we see is because of the increased weight and suprapubic fat, the penis appears to be buried. And so when the most of the parents, they never come to us saying that we feel that our boy's weight is more or a child is obese. Most of their main concern is that the penile length appears to be small. Like that's the concern. So when we look at the stretched penile length, usually the length is normal, but it's because of the obesity. But when the child continues to be obese and the bone age continues to be advanced, the child will finally end up with earlier puberty, and the final height can be compromised. The child might end up being a short adult.
Right, right. So I have heard few myths actually around the precocious puberty. One of the most common myth that okay, although people know कि हाँ इसके बाद हाइट नहीं बढ़ेगी और वो सारा होगा, but they feel कि अगर एक बार start हो गया तो वो रुकेगा नहीं. It's a genetic. What is the fact behind it? Like, what is the fact that okay, of course sometimes it is genetic, but as we discussed that there are so many reasons for it. But what is the fact behind this myth?
Hmm. I think it's just a myth. There are like options now, but yeah, like you said, we always ask for the mother's age of menarche and see how the familial trend is, how the aunts, at what age was it that the aunts developed menarche, and usually the children are similar to the mothers. It's not like very varied. But when you feel that there's a lot of difference in a child is attaining, early features at 6 to 8, 7 years or earlier than 8 years, there are definite options called GnRH analogs, gonadotropin releasing hormone analogs, which can be used. And then we will be just halting the progress of puberty. It's not that we are stopping it, we are just halting it for the time being, to give the child enough time to continue to grow. And once the child is, of the right age, between 11 to 12 years, we can always stop the GnRH analogs. And once we stop, the child is going to assume the changes again.
Another thing, actually, I have seen in my clinical practice that okay, once we tell the parents whether it is a case of short stature, whether it is a case of precocious puberty, that we have to give hormonal therapy or we have to start. The moment they hear hormonal therapy, they kind of run away. कि हाँ
Yeah.
नहीं हार्मोनल थेरेपी से इतना नुकसान होता है बच्चे को साइड इफेक्ट्स होंगे ऑल्दो आफ्टर लिसनिंग आफ्टर वी टेल देम ओके द चाइल्ड नीड्स ट्रीटमेंट दे गो टू सम क्वैक and they will take some medicines or some steroid outside, but they won't get this treatment done from a medical perspective. So if you can help us understand or help the parents understand that okay, hormonal therapy is not uh, bad hormonal therapy ke side effects. Of course everything has side effect, but it's not that that will harm your child in long run.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Like, this is one of the first questions that even I get asked, like when they
Hmm.
come, like, doctor, what are the side effects? That's the
Huh.
first thing that they ask.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, like, because they keep asking, even I have read extensively, and these days I mention, of course, even like the simple medications or even antibiotics are
Yes.
always come with a side effect. Like,
Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
always like a prescription list that you get with the side
Hmm.
effects mentioned.
Hmm. Hmm.
Similarly, we mention the side effects, but side effects are not that common. The most
Hmm.
common side effects would be like the pain at the injection site, or abscess formation at the injection site. They might have some flushing kind of symptoms, or they might
Hmm.
need vitamin D supplementation during
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
therapy. But after we stop the treatment, they'll attain menarche just like any other girl within 1 to 1.5 years, and there won't be any serious side effect. And I've read extensively there is no issue with future fertility. That is again one thing that the parents are
Yes.
very much
Hmm.
concerned about.
Hmm. Hmm.
No such research is available. And nowadays it so happens that the parents who are already on treatment for their daughters, they end up getting their neighbors and they get their cousins for treatment, because they know when their daughter is undergoing treatment for like a year, and then they feel confident about it and they have not experienced any serious harm. That is when they are comfortable telling about it to others. Another reason that this is, I've even seen mothers who have like three daughters and they've not done anything about it for the first two daughters, and the first two daughters are like now 18 or like 14, and they're not growing anymore. So when they see the third daughter with the breast development, say early, between 7 years or 8 years, they're really concerned, and then they want to go ahead with treatment because they know what has happened.
Hmm.
So things are changing. People are, yeah, they have more awareness now.
They have more awareness. What are the other myths if you hear in your day-to-day clinical practice?
Mm, uh,
You.
Other myths is just about this, mainly about fertility. They are scared, and
Hmm.
about if the child will really develop menarche after this,
Hmm. Hmm.
and any other serious side effects. Yeah, they're all worried about the side effects.
Hmm.
Apart
Hmm. Hmm.
from it, like sitting them down and explaining the pathophysiology and making them
Hmm.
understand why it has to be given, it usually works. They
Hmm.
understand.
Hmm. Okay, okay. So now coming to management, as we are discussing the hormonal therapy and other things. So if you can help us understand that what are the steps, of course they will do as their doctor said, but for the basic knowledge the parents should get from this episode, that okay, these are the steps they have to follow, and they can prepare themselves with the GnRH injection, or the like how frequently they will get, how what are the issues they might face. We have discussed already the side effects, but what is the management steps for once the kid is diagnosed with the precocious puberty?
Again, the management would be different depending on the cause. The
Yes,
cause
of
has to be
course.
identified. If there's a brain tumor, then yeah, the tumor has to be
Of
removed, and the
course, of
treatment would
course.
be that. And the ovarian tumor, similarly, there are many other conditions as well. If nothing is being found, and then if you simply want to delay puberty, then you have options with GnRH analogs, and that again is available in multiple dosages, and it can be given at multiple intervals. Depending on the comfort of the doctor, they'll decide whether they want to give it monthly or 3 monthly. And even outside, like in the UK, they're giving even 6 monthly injections. So all of it can be tried depending on the comfort of the child and how often you can visit your doctor. For example, if some of the patients are staying very far and they can't visit, then the frequency can be reduced. So yeah, the treatment can be made custom made for every patient. That's not an issue.
Okay. And another question parents ask you also, me also, that what is the time duration for the treatment? They want to know this before, and okay, how
Mm.
long we have to give this treatment?
Yeah. Earlier we used to give it till 12 years, and now we
Hmm.
are gradually reducing it up to 11 years. So
12
between
years
11
chronological age.
chronological age,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
up to 12 years of bone age rather.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, we assess the bone age again, and depending on the bone age of the child, we would take a
Hmm.
decision
Hmm.
as to when
Hmm.
to stop.
Hmm. Okay, with this treatment, another question parents usually get that okay, we are giving the treatment. What are the chances that they will gain the height of the parent, or how much height they will gain after this treatment? Will they the kid will be able to attain the adult height, or what height was expecting in the family? Is there any cutoff that okay, this much height they will gain, or what how can you measure the impact of the treatment?
There are no mathematical indications for it.
Hmm.
Sadly,
Hmm.
there is nothing, but we have certain tabular forms and certain charts with which we can give them a predicted height. But then
Hmm.
again, it is very individualized. Like the
Hmm.
same parent with two girls will not have the
Hmm.
same height. Both the girls will
Hmm.
not have the same height.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So it will depend again on multiple factors, but definitely the height improvement while on therapy is going to be better than what it would be without the therapy.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
And
Okay.
depending on when it has been started, like
Hmm.
when the treatment is started after the child has already attained periods, the effectiveness is far less than when you have identified at the earlier stage and have started treatment.
Hmm. Hmm.
So how
Hmm.
early it is detected is also important.
Okay, so the factor is that once you, how early is detected, how early is the treatment you have
Yeah.
started, the height measurement depends on it. And Dr. Dhana, how do you monitor? Like every time they come for the injection, what are the parameters you see for the that okay, the treatment is effective? What are the parameters you see or you measure?
Mainly, the parameters we use is the clinical parameters. We examine the
Mm-hmm.
child and we monitor the height. These two are the major important parameters. When sometimes when we are in doubt, we might need some blood investigations, but usually it is the height and the clinical progression of the child which will help us
Okay,
with
all
the
right.
patients.
Okay. And after stopping treatment, let's say the child is chronologically 12 years and now you are stopping the treatment. What are the things the parents should expect happening in the next 2 to 3 years in terms of height, in terms of physical, emotional development, in terms of long-term outcomes? The parents are keen to know, okay, what will happen after we stop the treatment?
Once they've stopped the treatment, they needn't really worry because the child
Hmm.
is going to attain, the pubertal features and progress normally. But
Hmm.
they can just make sure that the child is aware of the pubertal progression. It's like many
Hmm.
of the girls are never told about what is puberty and what is
Hmm.
menstruation. They
Yes,
need to be
yes.
told at the earlier stages. Even if you
Hmm.
feel that your girl has developed has development of the breast very early, 8 or 9 years, they
Hmm.
need
Hmm.
proper education. It is better that they
Hmm.
hear from the mother rather than them trying to find out on the online or listening
Hmm.
to things from their friends, which can be false or something that
Hmm.
scares them even more.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and about menstrual hygiene and how menstrual hygiene needs to be taken care of, and
Hmm.
also about sexual activity. They need to know.
Hmm.
Basic sex education needs to be given. I think nowadays all schools are also taking care of this. But as a parent, also, I think it's important that the mother or the father sit down with the child and talk to them about the basic
Hmm.
things. That is one thing that has to be done.
Okay, all right. So I'm moving to one, like I'm moving backward to ask you one question about the modifiable factors in the precocious puberty, like you mentioned. But if you can help us understand in detail, what are the modifiable factors? Genetic is one part which we cannot modify, of course,
Yeah.
but the exercise, the diet part, the lifestyle, the uses of the what changes we can do in the kitchen, what changes we can do in the cooking utensils and the other things, even clothing also, even in the cosmetics. And if you can help us understand one by one, that will help a lot actually if,
I think
to
this might be a little bit of an overlap of what we did last time, but again, what I'll tell will probably sound more like a lecture to most parents. But these are the simple things which are
yes.
very important,
Mm.
which I spend like 15 to 20 minutes talking to every patient, and then my
Mm.
prescription will not have any medications. But then this is what I tell them for 15 to 20
Yes.
minutes.
Mm. Mm.
Uh, yeah, this is important for everyone, not just for your children. Your children need to see you doing it every day.
Mm.
Eat
Mm.
healthy. We should try and avoid processed food as much as possible. And
Mm.
there are different things about your ethnicity and how we prepare food. It's different with everyone, but I think we should reduce the intake of red meat, make it like
Mm.
maybe once or twice a month.
Mm.
Meat is also important for the protein intake, but maybe more of fish and chicken. Chicken also not
Mm.
like daily, and even if they're having it once in 2 days or 3 days, better to have it in the curry form rather than fried food,
Mm. Mm.
and have more of natural or organic food rather than having anything that is processed. Uh, all the things that if we go back and see um, how bread is made or how rusk or cake is made, if we even happen to look at videos of how they are made, they're not very hygienic and they have not much nutritive value, and there might be a lot of chemicals involved in the processing. So all these things need to be avoided. And daily exercise, again, exercise as in just activity, they just need to go out and play every day for 1 hour, which is very very necessary. And about the cosmetics, there have been a few studies which show that exposure to lavender oil and exposure to many estrogen containing creams, these also need to be avoided. Perfumes, they can also be a risk factor. It's not that we put on perfume one day and the next day your daughter is going to develop precocious puberty, but chronic
Chronic
long term
exposure.
exposure
Mm.
to such things, and these might be subconscious, we're not going to think. Many of the mothers who come, they say that we've done everything, like we made sure that our daughter eats healthy and she's very active, but still this happened. So many things we might not have really kept a track on, and sometimes
Mm.
in spite of best efforts this might happen. So
Mm.
like we
Mm.
said, some genetic factors which can't be modified, but
Mm.
these are the simple things that we can take care of.
Okay, and what are the things in the kitchen we should change to prevent precocious puberty?
Again, the utensils that you use, maybe we can use more of glassware, or
Mm.
maybe use more of steel rather than
Mm.
the coated utensils.
Mm.
The coated utensils and the Teflon utensils, those can be avoided, because they can be long term release of gradual release of carcinogens or endocrine disrupting chemicals from these things.
All right. And these days, we see the teenager girls are using those lip balm and the colorful. They claim actually that it's natural. It doesn't have any kind of chemicals. Still, I think we should avoid these kind of things. Like we should keep
Yeah.
our daughters away from the cosmetics, the makeup.
I don't know. I
Sometimes
feel
they.
it is very hard. The amount of advertising that keeps happening around, and yeah, the best way would be that as mothers we also don't use it, because daughters learn from by looking at us. Like, as if we are using less, then probably they'll be less fascinated about such things. And anything, if it has to have a shelf life of say 6 months or 1 year, obviously it is going to have some chemicals. It's not, if we make something natural and keep it outside, I don't think it'll last for a week.
Yeah,
Without
yes.
chemicals, it is going to go
Without
bad.
chemical, without
Yeah,
preservative, we cannot
yeah,
last for 6 months, one
6 months or
year.
1 year.
So
Yeah,
that's
so
why.
that's why.
Or in like happy mood, we apply lipstick on our kids, like our daughters. See, makeup we apply sometimes. Even perfume also. If we are going out, they are saying okay, मुझे भी लगाना है, मुझे भी लगाना है. थोड़ा हम एज अ मदर और एज अ पेरेंट हम अप्लाई कर देते हैं, बट आई थिंक वी शुड अवॉइड दीज थिंग्स. ऑल्दो ऑफ कोर्स वन टाइम पे नहीं होगा, बट if the one time we apply and we set an example, okay, if you are keep insisting, I will give it to you, or I will apply this lip balm, I will apply this lipstick or this makeup, this foundation. So I think as a mother we should avoid these kind of things to our daughters, right?
Yeah, yeah. And one more thing, you were talking about the kitchen. Maybe we should take care about washing all the fruits and vegetables very thoroughly. I'm sure all of us are doing it, but we should keep like we should be very mindful and do it thoroughly because again, the exposure to pesticides, we don't know.
Right. And one more, the term is endocrine disruptor. So, of course, we have discussed all the factors and the endocrine disruptor. But if you can, like, kind of one by one, you can tell us that, okay, these are the endocrine disruptor we have in day to day life and which we should avoid.
But sadly, it is not so easy because then there's a lot of research that's going on and it's very evolving. There are many chemicals that are mentioned, like bisphenol A and so many polyfluorocarbons, many things that are used in the making of plastic, many things, resins, and all the processed food, processed sweets, all of them contain these endocrine disrupting chemicals. Anything that we use which is lasting for long, that's probably like laden with chemicals,
Contains.
and we should be mindful. And at the same time, it's impossible that we lead a life without any of this because all of it has become so ingrained. I think gradually we'll be going backwards to where we started. Maybe
The
use earthenware
village life.
more or earthen pots rather than using a lot of plastic. Glass would be a better option. Porcelain will be a better option rather than using a lot of plastic to store. Like some of the kitchens, if you see, they'll be with a lot of plastics where all the food items are also stored in kitchen, in the kitchen in the plasticware. So all that can be avoided. These are the simple things that we should do.
Right. So what I do actually right now, the first thing come when I deliver my daughter, and I as a pediatrician we know so many things ना, तो हम तो ज़्यादा ही डरते हैं. So I decided to change my kitchen altogether with the stainless steel utensil, even glasses, katori, everything we threw the plastic away in our house. We stopped using the plastic bottles, we stopped using the plastic containers also. We swiped with the steel or the glass container, storage container. We don't microwave food in the plastic. Either we use porcelain or we use glass ball to, if we are using microwave. Apart from that, in the food and of course diet habits, right now of course she's 9 months old, but still I make sure that the curd, everything we gave her is homemade for now actually. So curd is also, butter also I made at home only. The grain is coming from our farm actually. Till now I was not, whenever my mother was asking me, wheat leja, you can kind of help there, like you can use our own farms wheat na, but I was not bothered that much. Okay, I don't want कि मैं वहाँ से खरीद लूंगी, right? But right now everything is coming from my village, like सब कुछ वहाँ से आ रहा है, and I want to make sure that okay, genetic is another thing, but I want to make sure that okay, she should lead a healthy lifestyle, and she should not have that okay 8 years 9 years where she's facing that okay she has to manage the menarche or menses, which she's not kind of ready at 8 9 years. That is very smaller age. So that is why what I am doing for my daughter, and I want to tell all the listeners that they should take it this seriously, because it will not decrease, it will increase only, because there are so many environmental factors. We are kind of breathing the polluted air with the AQI 500 600, and where everything has chemical, everything has pesticide. Even the people are claiming that this is organic, but that is not organic, trust me. So you have to be mindful about that. And as Dr. Dhanya said, keep the baby active, exercise, and all those things. So that is my perspective, and I am following for my daughter. So, Dr. Dhanya, so much, thank you so much. It was so incredibly informative session. So, what are your takeaway message for all the parents to avoid, to prevent precocious puberty, so that we can help our child to live their childhood like we did actually till 13, 14 years?
Yeah, just reiterating what Dr. Sumitra already mentioned, eat healthy, be mindful of what you're eating, and make sure that your child is physically active. And the parents should intermittently be aware of their child's development as well. There are so many instances where the mother comes after the child has attained menarche. Like they missed the stage when the child had breast development, missed when the child had pubic hair. It's at the end that they come after the child is having menstrual cycle. So
Mm, mm,
if it you should be watchful, like even though your child is taking bath on their own, like
mm,
intermittently you should be very observant. If you
mm,
feel that any changes are there earlier on, whether it's a girl or a boy, it is
mm,
important that you seek medical help. It's just a consultation. If things are normal, you're just going to be told that it's normal. Unless it's absolutely necessary, you're not going to be like prescribed medications unnecessarily.
mm,
And so
mm,
it's
mm,
important that clarify your doubts if you feel that it's necessary.
mm.
And monitor the child closely. Like even if it was told to you that it was normal at one particular point, after 3 months, maybe just get the child reassessed, not with blood tests, just a physical examination with your pediatrician or pediatric endocrinologist will help. That is what I would say is important.
Okay, okay. So thank you so much, Dr. Dhanya. It was
Thank
so
you.
helpful session, and all my listeners, anybody is having any doubt, you can contact us to connect with Dr. Dhanya. Any kind of doubt you can have, you can connect with us.